I went to the Women on the Road podcast campout a few weeks ago. It just so happened I ended up being parked next to one of my favorite Instagrammers, Katie Larson from So We Bought a Van. Of course, I had to get a tour. Katie has a website where you can find links to most of the things you're going to see on the tour. So if you have questions, you might want to start there. So let's go see the van.
Hi, my name is Katie. You can find me on social media at So We Bought a Van on Instagram and Facebook, and soweboughtavan.com. This is my 2016 Mercedes Sprinter 144-inch wheelbase, high roof. I've been in it for 2.5 years, owned it for 3, bought it new back in 2016. At the time I was with a previous partner and we bought the van together, and then we worked on the conversion together along with a little bit of help from friends and family, which took about 6 months from start to finish. We converted it in Portland, Oregon, ordered everything online, and then hit the road. So I paid for a little bit of a higher package with the van. It came with a navigation system, fog lights, the heated leather seats. Some of the step-up features are a little bit different. It also had a rear floor heater already installed, and then the rest of it was completely empty, no windows. It's got the 2 seats, they both swivel. Those are both installed from, I believe, sprinterupgrades.com. Super open in the front. The patched collection, which is my favorite part. Got from all the different places that I visited, you know, friends that run their own businesses, other van lifers that are like fundraising to buy their own vans, and yeah, it's kind of a fun collection. My bathroom, quote unquote, is this very tiny Thetford porta potty. I mostly just go number 1 in it. If I do go number 2, I usually line it with a bag. Other than that, I mostly just go outside or in public places. I do have a road shower on the outside. Aside from that, I have a Planet Fitness membership, and that's usually where I shower. I have so much storage in this van, it's kind of crazy. I've been traveling kind of a fair amount with some friends and a partner, so it's a little more empty right now than usual, but I've got all the liners here. I have upper hanging cabinets on both sides all the way back. And then I have these drawers here. These are usually lined with books, but right now it's just got some electronics and miscellaneous things. And then kind of going to the kitchen stuff, this is where I keep snacks, dishes, all of the dry foods, all go in there. I have a 2-burner propane stove. It's a Wedgwood, which I believe is now owned by Dometic. It's hooked up to about a half-gallon propane tank that goes in the back and runs all the way through a line there. Small sink. It's actually a pretty decent size. I really liked the size of it. It's a little dirty once again, but it's been really perfect for the sense that I can leave enough dishes in it if I want and walk away from it, but I can also keep it clean and it doesn't take up that much space. I also have a cutting board that I can lay across here. I have more prep space for things because there is not a whole lot of counter space in here. It's got the spray, the nozzle comes down and it sprays. I have 10 gallons of fresh water in the back of the van, and then I carry 7 gallons of drinking water in a separate jug just to optimize how often I can be kind of off-grid and whatnot. It runs into a 5-gallon gray water tank that I just replaced that. It was really, I had a clear one before and it was kind of gross, and just after being in the van for that long, things need to be replaced, you know. So yeah, the pipes are in there. I also have a SureFlow electric water pump that is hooked up to a switch so I can turn it on and off. I have a hot spice, or a hot sauce rack over here where I keep all my hot sauces. It's got some soup and other stuff in it, but I usually carry like 10 hot sauces in the van. It's the one thing that I actually carry a lot of and I splurge on.
I love that.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's great. I love it. These are the kitchen drawers, so they're very big, like extremely big. I have 3 of them. So the top is silverware, other cooking supplies. It's not very organized right now, but even like my measuring cups are metal and they stick together so that it helps eliminate like kind of clanging and clicking while I'm going down dirt roads. A bunch of miscellaneous stuff in here, little candles, and then obviously all the pots and pans and cutting board, French press, all of that. I really found that having this is more than I even usually carry, but having one big saucepan, like a saute pan, 1 pot, and then a cast iron has been extremely sufficient. And I could honestly probably even get rid of the saute pan if I wanted. I don't use it that often. So that is all of the kitchen stuff.
Excellent.
Am I missing anything with that?
Fridge.
Duh, yes. Where I keep the food. Once again, it's stocked right now for an event with a friend, so it's got some food in it and a fair amount of alcohol. But this is a NovaCool R3800. So these are not as popular, but when I first bought the van, they were kind of the big thing that Isotherm wasn't out with anything yet. Dometic face fronting fridges weren't super popular, so I really like it. It has a freezer that, I mean, you can tell that this stuff is kind of frozen. It cannot freeze ice cream or anything, but it can keep frozen vegetables in there pretty well. I've got this drawer out here that slides all the way out. I mean, I have a whole 2 Tupperwares of leftover dinners in there. I have multiple beverages, fresh foods, condiments. So the size is actually pretty good. I find that it can hold quite a bit. And it's pretty efficient with energy. It really, a lot of people complain about their fridges drawing a lot of power, but I really haven't had any issues. The latch is not wonderful, but it does the trick. I just have to unlatch it every single time. This is just a miscellaneous drawer of stuff. I've been renting my van a little bit, I'll say that. So I've lived in my van for half of the month of September, and then the other half I just got it back from a renter. I've been doing that through Outdoorsy, so I just moved all of my stuff back in here on Friday morning. But this is usually where I keep like socks, underwear, swimsuits, that kind of stuff. Once again, they're huge drawers. Like, they're totally sufficient. I have 2 of these on the bottom. And then the latches too, I don't know if you want to get a close-up on these. They're SeaWorld. So you click it in, and then the back clicks up here, and then it latches underneath this silver right here. They're one of the more spendy options for the, the ways to latch doors, but I have found that they're some of the best quality ones also. I mean, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg for them, but they've never failed once. I pack my drawers substantially more full than I really should, and I've never had them fault or open or anything, so I really recommend those. I also have a spice rack here, I'll show you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is really nice. It's I don't have to get in and out of the top all the time for cooking. I can just grab and go. The bed is a little bit wider than a queen and a little bit shorter than a queen. I want to say the dimensions, but I don't remember them, and I don't want to be wrong. It's so long ago, but I can sleep both ways if I want. I'm about 5'5", 5'6", and I can sleep both ways. Diagonally is especially comfortable. It is 6 inches. It's a 3-inch memory foam and then a 3-inch gel foam. One of them is a, sorry about the dog barking. One of them is a seasonal mattress, so technically I can flip it, and one is like a heating feature and then one is a cooling feature, to just kind of help regulate the body temperature based on the season.
Oh, that's cool.
I've never flipped it. I just keep it on the cooling side because I think it's easier to get warm in a van than to do the opposite.
Right. And do you follow weather?
Yeah, so the first year I didn't, because I was only planning to do it for a year. So then I was doing all 50 states and I was going to be done and sell the van. And then, tales all this time, we all just keep going. So the first year I was in snow, I was in cold. And then this last year, I've been doing like California, Arizona in the winter. So I obviously hit cold weather. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I spend holidays there with my family. So that is cold and sometimes snowy, but it's not horrible. There's a floor heater that's underneath this, but I can only use it when the car is running. So it really helps that, like, if I'm gonna park somewhere and I know I'm gonna be there and I'm heading there, if it's cold I can crank the heat back here, which helps. And then if it's hot I can crank the AC back here. And then between that, the insulation and the insulated window covers, the car is kind of set for the night, as long as I'm not getting there extremely early in the day. I've got a little bottle holder thing, some magnets, places that I can hang pictures if I would like.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then some hat hooks. I have another basket there that's kind of poorly placed. I hit my head on it a lot, so if I wanted to change something, that would be one of the things that I would change. It's quite annoying. These are really similar to the bottom ones. Same latch. They're pretty spacious. I fill them very full. Probably more so than I should. This one is not a good example of that, but the rest of them, usually when I open them up, something is falling out. So there's 4 of these in the back, which is really nice. I have so much storage. I can do seasonal clothing, I can do gear. If I need more room for dry food or bulk or anything, I can do that. I have a solar reader here that I kind of maintain, checking on my batteries and making sure that my electrical system is running sufficiently. There's a 12 volt here. that I often will plug like a small fan in, and I'll use that to suck air in, and then there's 2 USBs, so that's how I charge my phone and my camera and whatnot.
Nice.
So the windows are all C.R. Lawrence. I have the T-vent one on the sliding door that opens up on the bottom. These are also C.R. Lawrence. They're technically horse trailer windows. They have weep holes in the top and the bottom because the windows are reversible to help drain out the water. So if anybody uses them, you do have to plug the top with some sort of putty or caulk or something. My window covers are nothing fancy. It's just 2 layers of Reflectix glued together, sewed between canvas. So I made these 2.5 years ago. You can see they're not perfect by any means, but they do the job. If I could do them again, I would put magnets or something in because they don't stay up there. At the time, they were so like full against this that they stayed up just on their own. But the whole van, a Sprinter, kind of is like this, so the window covers fall constantly. I have to just lay pillows against them on the windows, otherwise they fall. So I would do probably like, I could even just sew it in. I just haven't done it because I'm lazy, but just like sew in a pocket with a magnet, which would then stick on there. Yeah, so I have these. The 2 layers of Reflectix is really nice when it is laying flat, like flush in the window. I have no problems with managing heat or anything. Obviously, I try to be smart with like parking in the shade. I keep my windows open and my door open during the day when I can. I have the fantastic fan that I use, so that really helps. It sucks in and it sucks out, and with the back windows, by opening that up and kind of pulling out, it gets a constant breeze, which is really nice, especially at night because I have that flow.
Love your window framing.
Thank you. Yeah,
really pretty.
My ex-boyfriend and his dad did those. They did a really good job. People actually say that quite a bit because it really makes it, I think, feel more homey. The framing of this is just the double piece of it, and then even the small hand cut piece of this is just, it's one of those things that it's like the small details, the linings, like putting in a floorboard cover right here that just does the edge piece. Those final pieces really make a big difference in a van build. This is another one, this was hand jigsawed to fit that. And like a lot of people will just leave that open, but I really wanted it to feel really homey, like as much as possible. I wanted it to feel like an apartment in here. I wanted it to feel like a home, but I didn't really want to feel like I was living in a car. I wanted to be extremely comfortable, and I wanted to love the look of my build. So, yeah, we put a lot of those small touches in and really tried to pay attention to the small details, because in my opinion, that's one of the reasons of doing the van yourself, is because you get to do those small details. A lot of times when you do go get them converted, they have, you know, A, B, and C packages. Now more people are doing custom builds, which is extremely wonderful, and I think that's great because it allows people to get what they want. But at the time, it was really long wait lists, and like these are your package options, and you don't really get to do anything detailed. So by doing this, I got to choose every little piece of hardware, like final touches, colors, the kind of wood, all of that I wanted to do on my own. We had a family friend that built the cabinets. He specializes in sailboats, so he knew how to build cabinets that were not only going to be completely sturdy, like these things are dead in here, and they're built really well. If you see, the grain even goes across the whole piece. I mean, he just did a really good job.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, they were expensive, but we did design and install them. So once again, we were able to get the exact dimensions that we wanted. We chose the size of the toe kick. We chose the size, like we did the countertop ourselves, and we got to choose how we wanted all this to fit together. I had that 10-gallon water tank and the pipes that run to it. Another thing that I would change is that I have to fill from a hose, so I can't like funnel water in. I can't go to the grocery store. So most of the time I've been in enough places that now I kind of know which parks and which cities I have a place that I know where I can get water. But like I was in Denver this summer, and the only place I could really get free water wasn't free. The RV park would charge me $5, and I could go in and fill in my water, which isn't bad because I'm very stingy with my water, and that allows me to have it last weeks at a time. So I really try to be careful. And then that drinking water, I can just go into the grocery store and fill if I need that. So that's something I would do different. I would either like install something in the side of the van that had this downward and I could funnel water in, or do multiple gallons that then you could just move the pipe that's actually pulling the water into the new jug, so I could keep multiple sections of water. This is that propane tank that I talked about. So I really chose to do a refillable one, and I am so grateful that I did. I save so much money, and I don't have to constantly worry about buying and recycling those green canisters. I think it's 0.6 gallons, but the bottom curves up, so it actually holds less than you think. But I'm able to take it out. I look on Allstays at an app, and then I can see where they do propane, and most U-Haul locations actually have propane fill stations. A lot of 76 gas stations have them. I find it there, and it's like $2 to fill it, and the propane lasts me like 4 months usually.
Nice.
I usually eat cold lunch, I eat salad, and then I'm doing a lot of cold brew instead of hot coffee right now. So that will change in the winter, but right now it's great. At my worst, I was filling it once a month. At my best, it's been like every 4 months. That's all strapped down, very bolted down for safety, obviously. I have my heater. This is a Mr. Buddy heater. It's run by the green propane canisters that, you know, once again, I don't use it that much because I don't like to have to buy those. I have a bunch of tubs. This is camping chairs, a huge camping table, an extra table. Like I have a similar cut from my countertop on a butcher block table that goes on a pedestal if I want something extra. That is another thing that I don't have in my van as a workstation. I work usually full-time, sometimes part-time on the road, and I'm sitting either on the floor, in my bed, in one of those turnaround seats, but my computer's always on my lap. So it's fine, it really does the job, but as I've gotten further into working, further into running a business, I really would love a place where I could mentally go, sit down, lay out my planner, have the things, you know, my hard drive and stuff really accessible. And I just think that would really help. Right now I'm spending a lot of my time working in public libraries to get a sit down area. So that's another thing that I would change. I have a safe. I don't keep anything in it, so I feel comfortable talking about it. But, you know, in the past I've held checkbooks and passports and stuff. Right now it's empty because I don't have a need for it, but it has been really nice, especially if I have either let friends or if I'm leaving the van long term, or if someone's renting it, it helps people to just know that they have that. This is my battery bank. It's freaking huge. It's so big. I have 465 amp hour batteries. They're the deep cycle AGMs, they're VMAX tanks, and I have 3 100 watt Renogy solar panels. Like at most times, my batteries right now are at 13.2. They never really drop below 12.6. Wow. I can be off grid with no sun for like 5 days at a time and I have no issues. I leave my fan honestly running 24/7 most of the time.
Me too.
So it's one of those things that it's like I kind of went overkill on the electrical, but I'd rather have more power than less. Like I've never really had to think about it that much. And then my solar charge controller and all the wires are run here. So you can see it's all, the fuses are all labeled for what it is. I run the fan, the lights, the fridge, the water pump, all of that from there. And that's kind of it, like more hooks, small little details, but really honestly, like what you see is what you get with this van. It doesn't convert at all. It's very comfortable, stationary, so that if I'm tired I can just lay in bed. If I want to cook, it's all set up. And that was another goal, is I didn't want to have to be setting up camp and taking out camp every day. So I'm really able to just park and be ready, or if I need to leave in a rush for something, I can just go.
I want to thank Katie for showing us her van and also for being such a great neighbor, even if only for a weekend. If you're in the process of building out your van, check the show notes below for links to her website and her gear shop. Please hit the thumbs up below and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any upcoming videos. I also want to thank you for your thoughtful comments and questions, so keep them coming and I'll do my best to respond. This is Joni with TheGalavan. Enjoy your journey.